Let's take a look at the advanced plugin tools for slicing using OctoPrint on our MakerGear M3 printer. Now you should have already run through Quick Check and printed your first print. In fact, we have this MG keychain.stl, and if you click this wand, you should see this basic slicing interface. We're going to enable the more powerful slicing editor. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and click on the wrench settings icon, go to Plugin Manager, and we're going to go down through these numbers until we see Slicer with the description of full-blown GUI-based slicer. This should be installed by your printer by default, but disabled. If for some reason you don't see it in installed plugins, you can click Get More and search for it in the plugins repository. In the plugin repository, it's named Full Featured Slicer. Anyway, as you can see, it's sort of grayed out here, and we see this circle without anything in the middle. Just hit the circle. That'll enable the plugin, and you'll be prompted to restart. This is going to restart OctoPrint. One of the big reasons that this isn't installed by default is that some older computers, as well as some phones and tablets, don't work well with the full-blown slicer. The full-blown slicer will take over all slicing operations, so if for some reason you need to do the basic slicing on your phone or an older computer, go ahead and go back into that settings and click the full circle to disable slicer, the full-blown slicer. Once OctoPrint is successfully restarted, you've got two ways to access the new slicer. One way is to go through the tab menu and click on Slicer, or if you have an STL file in your main menu, just click on the wand and it will automatically open the tab and load the object into the slicing plater. So from here we've got a couple of options. Here we can use this to change our X, Y, and Z rotation, either incrementally or with big numbers, just typing them in. We also have this option to lay flat, which is really nice because it will lay the object flat as it can onto the canvas. The exact angle it goes is going to base on the orientation of the object. So for example, if I grab this X and rotate it straight up and lay flat, it's just going to have whatever it can flat toward the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and reset, and we'll be back where we expect it to be. This icon gives us a chance to change the size of the object, so we can increase this. This will give you the actual dimensions, but think of this as the multiplier. So if I change this to 2, that'll be twice the size. In this case, I'll do 1.25 to make it a little bit bigger than default. That X, as you saw, deleted an individual object, and this multiple X can clear all the objects out. But if I want to grab them again, all I have to do is click that wand on the side. I also have the chance to duplicate, so I can put however many duplicates I want. And I can even grab each individual one and change it. Again, I can just go back to this X to remove all of the objects. Come back to my wand, bring this back in. So underneath here in general, I can pick which profile I want. In this case, I want PLA, no support. Printer profile should always be the MakerGear M3. After slicing, I'll go ahead and select for printing. If I want to change my name here, I can. I've also got my basic and advanced tab. So in basic, I can adjust my print temperature, layer height, fill density, as well as the shell thickness, print speed, how thick the top and bottom are, and if I want to add any support. The option you'll be most interested in is this fill density. So this makes it really easy to change how much infill is going to go inside of the object. So you can lower this to use even less plastic, though some objects might not be quite as strong. 20 is a great place to start. 15 is pretty common. And again, it just depends on exactly what kind of object and what your object will be doing. You've also got this advanced feature, which will give you a whole lot of different options on retraction, speed, filament flow, how your cooling fan will work, and so on. You can also add a brim or a raft. And if you want, you can edit the starting or the ending G-code. So I'm just going to click around here, give it one last look, maybe zoom in, zoom out a little bit by scrolling, just make sure that everything looks good. I'm going to scroll down, go ahead and click Slice It. Down here you should see this slicing, and once it's all done, you'll see slicing done. Since I told the general settings to select for printing after slicing, it is now loaded in the state. But if for whatever reasons it hadn't been, I could click the folder to load it on up. I can take a look at my G-code viewer, make sure that everything looks as I expect it. Do one last check of my printer, make sure my filament is set and my bed is clear. And I can just go ahead and click print. The starting code for the temperatures I set will automatically set the hot end and the bed temperatures. And once they get up to temperature, everything should start printing.